people just won't do it. And so it makes it easier for them to demonize us and make us look like radical people. I've been called a sovereign citizen, which I've never had any affiliation with the sovereign citizen movement. I don't have an opinion one way or the other about them. I've never been a part of it myself. I'm on basically the fusion center of Florida. They placed me as a sovereign citizen who is a threat to law enforcement. Um,
Yeah, I have the similar stuff going on. I have the the Threat Fusion Center, the Joint Terrorism Task Force has determined, along with the Southern Poverty Law Center, they've designated my YouTube channel as a what is it? Potentially violent right wing. Now, this is funny. I'm an anarchist. I despise both wings of that fascist turkey, but I've been defined as a potentially violent right wing uh, anti what is it? Anti-government New World Order conspiracy type theory type person. That's basically how they characterize me. In 2008, the Southern Poverty Law Center published they do the potential groups that should be on a terrorist watch list, and the URL for my YouTube channel is there. And then during Eli Ritchie's, he's a fellow that cop watches out here recently. He was given a stalking protective order for asking our chief of police, Miss Danielle Outlaw, questions pertaining to her job on two different occasions. But I sat there in court and watched the head of Portland Police Bureau's criminal intelligence unit, which they liaise with JTTF, and that's in our city documents. You can read that at portland.gov. So they interface with Joint Terrorism Task Force, and that guy got up there on the witness stand in front of the judge and explained to the judge and the few people witnessing that they are going through all the cop watchers' social media. He said all of them. And he explained that they're categorizing us according to various threat levels. So
yeah,
I don't know what number threat I am, but and honestly, it's creepy, but it's also flattering. Like, if you're not on some sort of a terrorist watch list and you're an activist in the 21st century in America, you're not
yeah.
doing your job. I think that it's a badge of honor, and I'm proud that the feds are watching me. I think that's wonderful, considering I've never made an actual threat. I've never advocated for any sorts of violence. I've never been convicted of a violent crime, yet I have that, and not just me, everybody else who films the cops on a regular in Portland. There's bolos that go out, and they explained in court, okay, that they give command level officer reports. I think they're like monthly, and the individual officers. So all the officers are getting like intelligence briefs on me, like they're running a literal counterintelligence operation, and it's flattering and creepy at the same time. But honestly, Jeff, when I want to have a private conversation, I went and bought one of those lead bags that you transport film in. I put
Uh-huh.
my phone in the lead bag, and I put my phone in my iPad, and then I stick my laptop computer in my bathtub, and then I have a private conversation in my living room.
Right, right. Yeah, I have no doubt that we're being surveilled. There's, you don't want to get too much into that because people will get scared off. But I mean, come on, they're listening to us a lot of times. But in my situation, like you were talking about, the Joint Terrorism Task Forces and the Florida Fusion Center, the Department of Homeland Security sent out a bulletin to all law enforcement agencies in the state of Florida, sovereign citizen threat, and I was on there, and it had a picture of me, my driver's license, and it made two false statements on this. One of the things that it said was that I was arrested in Jacksonville after fighting with cops, and I was had a fake passport on me and a fake driver's license or something like that. This never happened. Never happened. And the other
Wow.
one said that I was a part of an arrest in St. Johns County, where the guy I was they falsely claimed that I was a passenger in a car where a guy that was arrested had all kind of narcotics on, methamphetamine, all kind of other stuff, and a bunch of weapons. And what the situation with that was, yeah, I was there, but what I was doing is I was standing down the road, cop watching, filming what was going on. But somehow in the official report, I went from a guy standing, 100 feet away across 4 lanes of traffic, filming the traffic stop and the search and the arrest, to being a passenger in the vehicle. And that's not accidental, that's intentional. And next thing you know, this is being distributed to every single law enforcement agency in the state of Florida. So now all these cops that don't even know who I am automatically think that I'm a guy who fights law enforcement, who goes around with people who have drugs and weapons in their vehicle.
So that's what they read in their car when they, they take your driver's license. If you're pulled over hypothetically, and they have a reason to get your ID, and then they pull it up in the car, it's going to say all this stuff about, drugs and fighting with cops and yada yada yada. That could definitely get you killed.
That's one of the reasons I don't do the Second Amendment open carry audits anymore. I quit doing that.
Honestly, I think your camera is way more dangerous. I think that some well-placed words, physical resistance against government. And this is just how I feel about it. It's ridiculous. All you're going to do is get, at this point, all you're going to do is get labeled as a crazy terrorist whack job, and you're going to be dead. But if you can resist with ideas can't be destroyed. They can't be killed. And everything we say and do on the internet, it's not going anywhere. Long after Bunny Boots and Jeff Gray and Mike Bluehair and all of us are dead and gone, all of our ideas and all of our activism will still be on the web, and it will still be in the realm of the marketplace of ideas. So I think our cameras, our drive, our willingness to resist this 21st tyranny, our 21st century tyranny, is way more valuable than any kind of dust ups with the government or whatnot. Like, I have a lot of respect for the folks that stood up and took over the Malheur Wildlife Refuge for reasons of trying to bring about an understanding of how the federal government is usurping property rights, and how they wanted the states to have more control over their own land, as opposed to the federal government, taking over all the land use rights. But and I have respect for their tactic, but it's just not mine. I went out there with those folks, and I tried to give people an idea of what was actually happening there, because I saw the media, both right and left, just crucifying them. And what happened at Bunkerville the first time, when the Bundy's family's cows were being taken, and there's video footage of them shooting their cows, and messing with their livelihood. And a lot of people don't understand that, yeah, they were open carrying, and they said that if they were attacked by the government, that they would defend themselves. But, the whole way that those folks were characterized was just so different than the actual reality of it, that I found it just hard to believe.
Well, there was, are you familiar with who William Grigg is?
William Brigg? No, please do educate me in the audience.
He's a really good modern writer. He just died recently, but he did a really good story on a guy who was who the local government just took everything from this poor guy. They took his land, they took everything from him, and it was a complete retaliatory case. And the guy finally couldn't take it anymore, and he went down to the courthouse, and he I think he was shooting at the courthouse. But of course, the media just portrayed him as a crazy lunatic who right-wing lunatic who just went down and shot the place up. But William Grigg was very courageous. He had the blog that was called Pro Libertate, or Pro Libertate. That's what it was called, Pro Libertate. And he did a really, really good in-depth investigative story on this guy that was just pushed and pushed and pushed to the point of where he just didn't care. They took everything from this poor guy, and so at least you're right about the media just kind of not really doing good investigative reporting, the mainstream media. But then there's the good alternative media people out there that go out and report what's really happening. So That's pretty interesting. I like how you went out to, you put yourself right out there in the middle of the Dakota Access Pipeline, and you were out there covering what you were just talking about. That's something that I would never do. I would never go out and put myself at risk like that. And I have great admiration for you for doing that.
Well, thank you, sir. I feel emotionally driven to do what I do. Like at some point, it's beyond me, and the concept of liberty, the concept of one of the primary reasons why I went out to Standing Rock. It's funny. Like a lot of people are thinking, a lot of my leftist friends or anarchist friends were thinking that it was because I want to protect the environment. And yeah, sure, the environment's important to me, and this whole thing about CO2 and anthropogenic global warming. I think that's all brainwashing, but whatever. I mean, my reason for going out there was simply this.
Oh, I can't believe you just said that. Oh my God. You actually question the global warming nonsense that's going on out there. The whole, believe us or we'll say that you're a knuckle dragging Neanderthal, and we're going to control the temperature of the earth within 2 degrees. And all you have to do is give us more of your money or let us control more of what you do. Yeah, that's great. I believe that. Sure.
Oh yeah, like when I sign up to have my entire life micromanaged by a bunch of technocratic elites that want to dole out my bowl of gruel like in that movie Zeitgeist Addendum. I mean, wow. But anywho,
it's not even just your normal elitists. It's a global cartel that will be taking in hundreds and hundreds, if not trillions of dollars that have absolutely no transparency, no accountability. Yep. But they're going to control the temperature of the globe within a 2 degree radius. That's what just give them enough money. Yeah. Sure, I believe that.